A few people of interest.
But first, a fire. It started early this morning, causing property damage in Holly, and that leads our breaking news coverage this morning. Crews are working a fire near Holly that destroyed a shed.
The Clay County Sheriff's Department says the call came in around 3 this morning to 15th Avenue North, just outside of town.
Viewers tell Valley News Live the roof was on fire and collapsed. Crews were still on scene when we called earlier this morning. Stay with us right here at Valley News Live as we continue to follow that breaking news.
You are going to notice a difference when you walk out the door this morning. It is cooler outside. Let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green.
Good morning. It sure is. Temperatures this morning dipped as low as the upper 30s in some areas in northwest Minnesota. We're working our way up now that the sun is up, and we're now at 43 in Crookston after dipping to 39. It's 43 in Rosa. We were in the 30s there too. Fargo's at 47 and 43 in Grand Forks. But the bottom line is it feels a lot cooler when you step out the door this morning compared to our recent starts. And our wind speeds are light but northwesterly, and that's what we want to focus on, is the direction of that wind, because that's a cooling direction. And it's going to be just continually pumping in that cooler air, and we'll end up with some temperatures today that will be running way below average here for the valley. We've got some mostly sunny skies to start off. There are some areas where we've got some clouds making their way through, but overall pretty quiet out there this morning. Quick look across the rest of the country. We've had some severe weather moving through other parts of the Midwest, through Chicago last night, and now back into our eastern Great Lakes area, and then back over into the North Carolina, Virginia area. That spinning circulation, that's Tropical Storm Claudette. It actually re-intensified to a tropical storm, and we're looking at the current reading about 40-mile-per-hour steady winds or sustained winds. And luckily, because this has caused some damage, we're looking at this moving out to sea and clearing the area here. So that's our first storm that's impacted the U.S. as far as tropical weather is concerned for this season. So here's a look at our planners today. We've got, of course, nothing like that to worry about here in the middle of the continent, but we do have a couple of sprinkles we'll be watching for in places. We're looking at some sunshine in most areas to start. As we see our temperatures climb today, we'll end up into the low to some mid-60s across most of the valley. We'll have a few more clouds developing heading into this afternoon, so more partly cloudy skies, and the potential for some sprinkles or a light shower that'll be isolated up in the Lake of the Woods area. The northwesterly wind continues. We'll have steady speeds in the teens, with some gusts getting into the 20s this afternoon. So all that good rain that we had yesterday, well, that's going to get your grass growing finally. So maybe you're thinking about when you may be wanting to do some lawn mowing here this week. Well, today and tomorrow look pretty good. Wednesday's going to be hot. We're returning back to some hot temperatures, so you may want to consider mowing in the cooler times of the day. And then Thursday, looking pretty good, but Thursday night we'll see a chance for some rain, and that may be lingering into Friday, or at least your grass may be a little more on the wet side on Friday. So here's a look at your 7-day planner and a look at those numbers. We can expect to see those temperatures surging. So today we'll be in the low to mid 60s. By Wednesday, just 2 days from now, we're 30 degrees warmer or so for our highs. So we're really heating up. We'll see a chance for an isolated storm in the evening hours Wednesday and into early Thursday. But Thursday evening, we'll see that chance again for a little bit of rain. Heading into the weekend, looking good. Back into some 80s. A slight chance for some showers coming up so far this weekend. On Saturday, it looks like into Saturday night at this point. And of course, we'll get more details on that for you as the weekend gets closer, but quieting things down, and we've certainly cooled things down to start off the week.
No kidding. All right. But I'm already thinking about the weekend. It's Monday. That's how it works.
Well,
right?
yeah, that is how it is. So yeah, and nice that it's a Monday too, because what were you really going to do later today anyway?
Exactly.
Lisa, thank you.
A Grand Forks man is in jail this morning after threatening others with a shotgun. The Grand Forks Police Department was called to the 1200 block of North 39th Street shortly before 5 yesterday afternoon on a report of a man leaving his home with a gun.
Authorities say while the man was in the parking lot, he loaded the gun and then threatened people across the street. Police later arrested the man and recovered a 20-gauge shotgun from his home. Anyone with information about the incident is urged to call the Grand Forks Police.
All right, take a look at your screen. Grand Forks Police need your help finding these 5 people.
If you know where they are or what they could be up to, call Grand Forks Police. That number is 701-787-8000.
The Bemidji Police Department is also looking for help in identifying a person of interest in regards to an ongoing investigation.
If you know who this person coming up on your screen is, reach out by private messaging the Bemidji Police on their Facebook page or call an officer there, 218-368-9352. And when you give them a call, make sure to reference photo number 450 for this guy.
New this morning, hundreds of American Airlines flights have been canceled this weekend and today because of significant staffing and maintenance issues. 123 flights were canceled on Saturday, 178 on Sunday, and already 97 were canceled today.
American expects to cancel 50 to 80 flights every day through July. The airline says it has a shortage of labor as more people return to flying. American said it will attempt to notify customers far in advance of their flights and provide an opportunity for customers to rebook on alternative flights through its app.
American has canceled one of its flights out of Hector International Airport here in Fargo. In about 5 minutes, that 7 o'clock flight to Chicago is canceled.
We all learned a lot about viruses during the pandemic, and scientists are now hoping to keep the momentum going in North Dakota.
The state's Commerce Department is launching a new $3 million grant program to advance research and help develop additional vaccines for future diseases.
Some of the applications may tackle COVID, but also other coronaviruses that are currently in the global sort of disease ecosystem. It's more of leveraging the technology they produce from coronavirus production or manufacturing to solve other challenges.
That program will partner with Operation Warp Speed. The money came from unused grant dollars for restarting businesses.
It has now been 64 years since one of the most deadly tornadoes in Fargo's history.
The Fargo-Moorhead area was struck by a deadly F5 tornado that caused death and substantial damage. It hit speeds between 261 to 318 miles an hour. It was the first tornado to receive an F5 rating based off of what we now call the Fujita scale.
Reports say that 10 people died, over 100 were hurt, and over $25 million in damage was done. Of those who died, 6 were the Munson children.
It was Mercedes Munson, their mother. It was her 36th birthday that day. And the reason why they stayed home was because they were planning on throwing her a surprise party. And so there were neighbors who were telling them, you need to get in the car and go. And they wouldn't leave the house because they were wanting to stay there and give her this surprise birthday party. And they stayed and they were all killed.
The most recent F5 tornado in the U.S., it was 8 years ago on May 20th, 2013, when Moore, Oklahoma was hit, causing the death of 24 people.
A Royal Caribbean cruise ship set sail on a test cruise yesterday.
Freedom of the Seas, they departed from Miami on a simulated voyage, which is being done to test the health and safety protocols laid out by the CDC. Hundreds of passengers, including Royal Caribbean employees, are now participating in that test cruise.
The voyage comes after a federal judge last week sided with Florida in its lawsuit challenging a CDC order that shut down the cruise industry for more than a year due to the pandemic. The judge's decision makes the CDC's rules on Florida-based ships merely guidelines.
Iran's only nuclear power plant is now under an emergency shutdown for unexplained reasons. State TV in Iran called the shutdown temporary. An official from the state electric energy company said that the plant was shut down on Saturday for 3 to 4 days. State TV said that there could be power outages as a result.
This is the first time Iran has reported an emergency shutdown of the plant. The plant went online in 2011 with help from Russia. In March, Iran said the plant might stop working since it couldn't buy needed equipment from Russia due to U.S. sanctions. The International Atomic Energy Agency did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the shutdown.
Staying in the Middle East, Israel's new prime minister is condemning the election of Iran's new hardline president. At his first televised cabinet meeting since taking office last week, Naftali Bennett did not mince words.
He said as president, he would lead a regime of brutal hangmen. Bennett said world powers should not negotiate a new nuclear deal with that regime.
A scary moment for a driver in Atlanta, Georgia, when a huge tree and a power line fell on her car. Take a look right there. Heavy rainfall from Tropical Depression Claudette caused an oak tree and power lines to fall on this car Sunday morning. That trapped a woman inside.
Emergency officials were called to the scene and successfully rescued the woman. She was then taken to the hospital. Her condition is not yet known.
One of our own is going to be on the Today Show this morning, hoping to help break a world record. Our chief meteorologist, Hutch Johnson, he's going to be live from Detroit Lakes as part of Rokerthon. Al Roker is attempting to set a Guinness World Record title by hosting an online weather reporting relay.
More than 50 NBC affiliates are taking part, and our own Hutch Johnson is joining in on the fun. He was in very early today.
He was in very early, yeah. They
Grabbed
had to
some
hit
beach balls out of the studio.
Had to hit the road at 6:30. Beach balls, swim trunks, maybe build a sandcastle while we're there.
He did pick a chilly day to be on the beach.
Very cold morning.
In DL. Be sure to join in on the fun. Tune in to the Today Show this morning, or of course you can always watch online at today.com. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. 1 out of 10 bosses say they are suspicious of an employee who does this.
I feel personally attacked. The answer is someone who keeps their desk too clean. I mean, mine's not super clean, but hey, there's nothing wrong with keeping a tidy desk.
But you're not busy enough then. Says the person across with the messy desk.
Cleanliness is godliness. That's what I learned. Anyway, you can play along every morning on our Facebook page. The Today Show and CBS This Morning, they're just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. Join us on the Fargo CW.